in the book. He describes it as plunging your arm into red-hot volcanic lava and leaving it there, is how he describes it in the book. And you have to find an equivalent for that in the cinema.
Well, you guys did an amazing job of that, because it evoked exactly that feeling.
And then the third thing is that it's a passageway to something else. That it isn't everybody talks about this scene, and I understand that. It isn't the most important scene. The most important scene follows it, actually, is when he finds, as he stumbles out of that canyon, he eventually comes across a Dutch family who are hiking in the area, and he shouts to them. This individualist, this completely self-reliant guy, shouts at the top of his voice, "I need help." And that's the climax of the movie, where he admits that he needs help finally, and because we all do at different times, and it's a wonderful thing that binds him together with us, rather than just creates him as a hero who does something none of us are capable of. You see what I mean?
Yeah, he's sort of a loner who learns a lesson.
Yes,
that he can't be alone.
But no man is an island.
Yes, but that is your take on his life. Is that his take on his life, or is that a thematic reading from Danny Boyle?
It's a thematic reading of his book, which he agrees with, actually.
Yeah.
I think because he wrote his book, and he's moved even further on since then. Because he's gone through a whole media thing, because there was so much interest in his story and in his book, and then he's continued to learn from the experience of what he went through. And it's something that we interpreted, like there's tiny little hints at it in the book, and as a filmmaker you go, oh, that's what it's about, there, that's what it's about, not that, there.
Yeah.
And he sort of agrees with that now, so he's been very supportive, and he's working the film. He loves telling the stories. He believes his role is to tell the story out there to people, to inspire other people, because he believes that's why it happened to him, and that's what his function is now, to actually use it as an inspiration for other people. Because as he says, you will not meet a boulder like that, or you're very unlikely to, but we will all have our own boulders, and you need stories like this to help you get through them, you know.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie actually happens before he gets trapped, and that is the feet first dive into that pool of water. And I was wondering, because I saw that in the trailer too, what is the point of that scene? Because I thought it was brilliant, but I want to understand. I don't understand why that's in the movie at first.
Yeah, well, we wanted to saturate the opening of the film with moisture and liquid and water, because of course his torture ultimately is not the fact that he's trapped there; it's that he runs out of water after 2 days.
Oh yeah, other thing I'll never get out of my mind. Human urine flowing down the muzzle of a camelback.
It'll keep you alive.
For that, Boyle.
Yeah, no, well you've got to kind of take people there so that it's very funny, that scene. There's a great gag. We don't say it because there's a great gag comes at the end of it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things he went through. And we wanted to make people feel it, you know, not just watch it in an objective way, in a cool kind of documentary style way, but kind of feel what it's like to go through it like that. And Franco somehow takes you through it. But yeah, so the girls, it was to show how it's very dangerous what they do. It's great fun because they get away with it, so it doesn't feel reckless, but it is reckless. And there is a recklessness which he admits to in his book about his behaviour up until, you know, this lesson that he learns.
And the great thing about that scene for me is that it showed, because to me, why put yourself in those kind of risky situations? But the majesty, the absolute thrill of that experience, I think, is why risk takers take those risks. What an adrenaline rush to fall without knowing where you're going to land and end up in a pool of water.
A pool of beautiful blue water.
Yes.
I know, and you've got to kind of, we use the beginning of the film, this 10-15 minutes at the beginning of the film, to try and sum up what he feels about his life. It's great. Yeah. It's perfect. There's a couple of nice-looking girls, and he hangs out with them for a bit, but you know he's not going to get bogged down with anything. He's going to move on, and he's got, you know, you try and sum up his life in an emblematic way if you can, and it's there's a beautiful soundtrack. We've got a beautiful music on it, and he's got everything going for him until nature steps in with the equivalent of a grain of sand.
Yeah. Well, it's an incredible film, and I wish that we could talk about it for the next hour, but there apparently is news in this city, which I think is disrespectful to you, Danny, that people decided to keep
I don't know, come all this way.
I know, but thank you so much, and I guess just be careful if you ever camp again. I heard you're not a camper, and probably will never be now from spending the time looking at what can happen, how wrong it can go.
I just find the quiet really disorientating when you go out there. It's just too quiet. It's not right.